here we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. I am back. Welcome to Instagram and welcome to YouTube. My plan is to do a brief update here on OTwithDA. You can see I'm wearing the shirt. Big shout out to Types and Symbols. I'll be talking more about them in just a little bit. But I'm going to do an update on just sort of OTwithDA, my ministry generally, and just kind of catch you up because there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's going to be much easier just to do a live, to capture it for YouTube, and then to upload it to my YouTube channel, because literally a day does not go by that I don't get asked, when are we doing OTwithDA? When is that happening? I want to be ready for it, and so that's what this video is. It's an update on OTwithDA and just my ministry in general, my life in general. And I'm not very good, for those of you that know me, at keeping things short and brief, but I'm going to do my best to keep this as brief as possible. Okay, so I'm going to race through basically the material, and hopefully the connection holds up. And then at the end, I'll just have a few minutes if anybody has any questions in case I've been insufficiently clear. Okay, so a few things here just very quickly. Originally, the plan for OTwithDA was to do it this fall, right? So today's October 5, by the way. Today's my wife's birthday, and she is very generously letting me do this on her birthday. So thank you, Violetta. Happy birthday. And I actually have some, I'm over at a friend's house right now, but I have back at my house where I have even worse internet that doesn't even work at all. I have some homemade tomato soup that's waiting for me. So I want to make this as quick as possible so I can get back to my wife on her birthday. So basically we're in the fall here, and as you might have noticed, we have not started OTwithDA. Originally, the plan in my mind was to kind of do it like November, December, because we're going to do Prophets and Kings, right? That's the next in the series. We've done Patriarchs and Prophets, and then next is Prophets and Kings. And the good news about Prophets and Kings is it's not very many chapters. I think it's only like 60 chapters, maybe not even, 58 or something. Let me just check here. It's 60 chapters, so we could have done it in about 2 months, and the plan was to do it November, December. Unfortunately, I've had to move. I've been put in a situation where an unexpected move now has to happen, which is going to make doing OTwithDA this fall impossible. So that's basically the first announcement, is that we will not be doing OTwithDA this fall. And before you get too sad or too upset, I hope you're not upset. This is just the reality of life, in my life at least. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to flash forward and do Steps to Christ. Okay, so I've got Steps to Christ right here, the Types and Symbols, beautiful Steps to Christ from the Light and Life collection. So what we're going to do is read through Steps to Christ beginning January. Okay, that's the plan. That's the one of the major announcements that I have today is, and I'll have more specifics on this, but just basically the short version is we're going to read through 13 chapters of Steps to Christ in OTwithDA fashion, DA with DA fashion. We're going to do it the same way, but we're actually going to do a couple things a little different. I'll talk more about this later, but we're going to slow it down a little bit. We're going to really marinate in it. It's only 13 chapters. You can see it's a very small book. And we're probably going to do it over the course of like a month, right? Rather than doing 13 chapters in 13 days, we're going to do 13 chapters in about a month. We're going to kind of play it by ear, and I'll have more information on exactly how that's going to go in the future, okay? And I'll have a post on that on Instagram. I'll put it on Facebook, etc. So that's the plan. We are going to read through Steps to Christ, which, by the way, just a few quick words about Steps to Christ. I absolutely love this book. I've read it, I can't even count or remember how many times I've read it. I used to try to read it every single year. And for many, many years, I just read it year after year after year after year. And every time I would read through it, I'd be like, wow, I love this book. It's so amazing. And I would always learn something new, even though I'd read it so many times before. And so this is the kind of book that if you've read it before, you can get a tremendous amount reading through it. Again, slowly. We're going to marinate in it. We're going to memorize a few sections of it, mainly because there's some sections in it that I really want to memorize. And so we'll have some memorization challenges. That's going to begin in early January, maybe even January 1. Again, more details to come on that. Now, you might be saying, okay, well then when are we going to do Prophets and Kings? When are we going to resume OT with DA and do the second half? Well, the answer to that is in the spring of 2023. That's when we'll do Prophets and Kings. I don't know exactly when. One of the reasons is that there are, again, a lot of moving parts here, several sort of confounds. And one of them is that, as you may be aware or may not be aware, Lightbearers Ministry, myself and Ty Gibson, we run a school in Australia called Arise. And Arise takes place February, March, April, and the very first part of May. So I will be in Australia for basically 2 months. And for those of you that followed along on the first bit of OT with DA, you know that I brought all of my equipment, all of my gear over to finish up OT with DA in Australia. And it actually worked. But honestly, it was a real mission. It was extremely difficult to teach all day and then do OT with DA and do the uploading and do the editing. And I was able to pull it off, but it was too much. And I actually didn't get to spend as much time with the students as I would have wanted. And so I'm not going to do that again. So I'm not going to be able to do the second part of OT with DA until I get back from Australia. So I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it's going to be late spring sometime. And I also have to move into a new house. I won't bore you with all the details of that. It's going to be sometime late spring, either late April, May, somewhere in there, details to be announced. By the way, just so you know, our plan here is not only to do Prophets and Kings, but over the course of the next several years, I want to do, then of course, Thoughts from the Mount of Blessing, Christ object lessons. We've already talked about we're going to do Steps to Christ. Then we're going to do Acts of the Apostles, Great Controversy. And then I'd like to do Ministry of Healing. And that's going to take us at least the next few years. So this is going to be an ongoing challenge that I'm thrilled about. It's going to be amazing. Unfortunately, we're going to have to push back the second half of OT with DA, Prophets and Kings, until next spring. So that's one of the big announcements, and I can take some questions at the end in just a second. Now, just a few more important things to bear in mind. Again, Steps to Christ, we're going to do together as a part of the with DA. I guess that's what we should call it, right? We've done DA with DA and OT with DA, so we'll call this the with DA series. And we'll do it just like we did it before. My good friends Jose and Bernice, who I'm in their house right now, they've said that I can come into their house and set up a little studio in January. And that's when we're going to do Steps to Christ, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. I love this book. I'll say more about that in a future post and maybe even do a Q&A. So that's number one. We'll do Steps to Christ in January. We will resume OT with DA in the spring of 2023. And then, as I've already said, we'll press on with the other books as my schedule allows, because I've got a lot of things on my plate, as you might imagine. When I originally launched DA with DA, just to give a little context here, we were at the tail end of COVID, really. And there were really no speaking appointments. There wasn't a lot of traveling going on. I had a lot of time, and I just got this idea. Hey, I'm going to read through the Desire of Ages and invite people into that experience. And it was easy to do because my schedule was so open relative to what it has been in 2022 and now 2021 and 2022. So anyway, that's why we're kind of moving things around. And of course, Lightbearers, the ministry that I work for and with, we have so many amazing projects going on, and it's not easy to sort of find the time, but we are going to find the time. It's going to happen. So that's the first part of the announcement. Now, the second part of this announcement is that Types and Symbols, the design studio and publisher of not only the Conflict Beautiful and the Light and Life collection, I should say of both of them, and of the journals. I don't have any of the journals with me here, but here's what's happened. The Conflict Beautiful has run out of its second printing. I've got a set right here. Let me just grab this Light and Life collection real quick. So here's Jose and Bernice's Light and Life collection. They've got the red one, and then actually oh, I got a journal too. Thank you, Jose. Bam, there's the journal. That's the Patriarchs and Prophets journal. This is the Light and Life collection, and I'll just quickly take this down. Here's the Conflict Beautiful, right? This is in the grayscale. So what's happened is these books are all sold out. They're gone. The first printing has been sold out. The second printing has been sold out. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. And so Mark and his team at Types and Symbols were trying to decide whether or not to do a third printing. And of course, I was saying, yes, do a third printing, do a third printing, do a third printing. And to be clear, they wanted to do a third printing badly. But it's just one of those things where, do you do a third printing? Are there still people that want the sets? And I'm saying, yeah, definitely, let's do a third printing. So here's the way this is going to work, and I'll put a link to a video that explains all of this in my Instagram profile or Instagram bio, and I'll also post it so you can see it. But my good friend Ivan and one of the designers there at Types and Symbols made a video explaining what I'm going to briefly explain here. So here's what's going to happen. Types and Symbols is going to preliminarily, or at least they're going to commit to doing a third printing, but only on these kind of conditions, right? In order to, it basically makes it safe for them and it's responsible for them from a business perspective. They're going to do a third printing if they can get 500 pre-orders before the end of the year. Okay? Now again, I'll put up a video that will explain this in more detail, but the short version is if they can get 500 pre-orders for the Conflict Beautiful, they're going to do a third printing. That's the good news. The bad news is that if they don't get 500 pre-orders for the Conflict Beautiful, then the Conflict Beautiful will be no more. I mean, the ones that are already done, they'll continue to exist, of course, and I have a copy and you have a copy and many others do, but they won't be printing them anymore. And so just a few bits of information about that. Number one, if we can get, or if they can get to 500 pre-orders before the end of October, okay, so like within the next month, the good news about that is that they can place the order with the printer in Germany, and bam, then we can have those Conflict Beautifuls back in time for the second half of OT with DA. Okay, so if we can get those 500 pre-orders in before the end of October, that's a giant win. If we can't, then hopefully we can get those 500 pre-orders before the end of the year, because if we don't have that, then unfortunately the Conflict Beautiful third printing will not happen. So that's part of it. Now, just a few quick announcements about the reprinting of the Conflict Beautiful. So I don't have a copy, I don't think, oh yeah, I did bring my copy, it's right here. So I get asked a lot about my particular copy here. This is my copy of Patriarchs and Prophets, which I've been reading through like crazy, getting ready for a series on the life of Jacob, which I'll tell you more about in just a second maybe. But some of the books don't have marbled edges, right? These do. And one of the things that they're going to do in this third printing, again, assuming that they get the 500 pre-orders, is they're going to do marbled edges again. But they're going to do marbled edges in really kind of a cool way. There will be the hand-dipped marbled edges, but only 100 sets of those. And I'm told by Mark that they are being hand-dipped by the woman who literally wrote the book on marbling. And her name is Lucy McGrath. She's located in London, and she has agreed to do 100 sets, and that's it. So those will be, individually hand marbled, just like I've got here. And they will be available, but only 100 sets. But here's a really cool thing. They figured out a way, and it's explained in the video, and I won't bore you with the details, but they figured out a way to take high-resolution images, photos of some of Lucy McGrath's marbling, and then print that on the edges. So this is really cool. There's going to be two ways to get the marbled edges if you want them. And then there's also going to be non-marbled edges, to be clear, if you don't love them. I love them. A lot of people love them. We've had a ton of requests for them, and that's why they've explored this second option. So you'll have the hand-dipped option, which I already mentioned, but only 100 sets of those. And then if you are a part of the pre-order campaign, you can order these printed marbled edges, which actually look amazing. And Mark sent me some photos of it. Both Mark and Ivan, they said they were a little skeptical about it, but they looked at it and they were like, these things are amazing. We're definitely going to do it. Now, the only way to get those marbled edges is to place a pre-order, to get your name on the list, because they're not going to over-order. They might slightly order a few more sets of the marbled edges, but for the most part, if you want a marbled edges, you can do it on the pre-order, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Again, there'll be a video that'll explain all of this. Also, as a part of the pre-order campaign, which again, I'll put the link up, a lot of the other things that they sell, like the journals, they're going to be massively discounted. And the reason they're doing this, and I think it's really great, is they're really wanting to do a third printing, as am I. I know, I have friends who I go to their house and I say, hey, where's your Conflict Beautiful? And they say, oh yeah, I'm going to order one. I haven't done it yet. I say, what, are you kidding me? They're going to run out. Well, now I say to them, they're out. They've run out. And so hopefully we'll get these 500 pre-orders and then they'll be able to order. But they're incentivizing the ordering, the pre-ordering, by giving really steep discounts on the digital edition, the journals, the bookmarks, and some other things. Again, all that's explained in the video, and I won't bore you with all the details here, except to say that I'm so pumped that Types and Symbols, Mark, Ivan, and the team over there are considering, they're willing to do a third printing, because it's a lot of work for them, it's a lot of energy for them, and it's a big financial risk for them, right? So that if they just end up with, hundreds of these sets of books just sitting in a warehouse somewhere, that's why we're doing the pre-order, so they can be sure that they're not going to basically go out of business. That's me saying that, not them saying that. Okay, also just another couple quick things here. I've had a number of people ask me about what Mark texted me today, the dreaded book plates. So when we originally did the DA with DA, I said that I was going to sign all of these book plates for DA with DA. Those are still in boxes in my house. And I know you might not believe me on this because I'm already like a year behind. I was going to do those this fall as a part of, I was going to have time on my hands. I was going to do the second half of OT with DA. But now that I'm moving, I'm not taking things out of boxes. I'm putting things into boxes. So those book plates will be done in 2023. I'm not going to give any specific time, but I'm committing myself to sitting down and signing all of those. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And there's an update on the book plates. Just a couple quick general ministry updates, and then I'll take some questions if anybody has a few. Ty Gibson and I just finished an amazing 13-part series where we go through, on the Hope channel, The Chosen. I don't know if you're familiar with The Chosen or not, but it's a really great sort of worldwide video phenomenon on the life of Christ done by Dallas Jenkins and his team. And Ty and I just shot a 13-part series on that will air on the Hope channel. We're super excited about it, and there will be more details on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page, on the Lightbearers website. So that was really great. Number 2, we are doing Arise intensives like crazy. I guess you could say we are doing Arise intensives intensely. We've already done several this year. We've got one coming up in Cohutta Springs. The registration, I think we're done. It's all wrapped up because it's next weekend. Then we've got, I think we're doing one in Nashville, and we're also doing one in Portland. And then next year we're doing one in the Holy Land. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but we're doing a lot of Arise intensives, and those going great. I've already mentioned Arise Australia. We've got, I think, almost 30 people already registered for Arise Australia. That's February, March, April, the first part of May. You can go to lightbearers.org to find out more information. You can go to ariseintensive.com to find out more information about the intensives. We're planning to do several more intensives next year, like probably half a dozen. And if you'd love to have one in your area, reach out to us and let us know, because we'd love to come. We did one in Norway this year. We're doing one in the Holy Lands next year. So we're not only doing them here in the United States, we're doing them everywhere. And I think I just briefly mentioned that I'm getting ready to do an 8-part series. I originally wanted it to be 10 parts, but the scheduling didn't work out, so I've got to shrink it down to an 8-part series on the life of Jacob. That's why I've been reading back through Patriarchs and Prophets, the chapters. In fact, I've been doing so much reading and studying on, this is what I have in my brain right now. Jacob, Esau, Isaac, Rebekah, Laban, Rachel, Leah. I'm like starting to call my children, right, like Esau and Isaac and Jacob, and calling Violetta Rachel or Leah. I'm kidding. I'm not actually doing that. But they're just on my mind because beginning October 22, that's just like 2.5 weeks away, that 8-part series will begin. It's called Jacob, the Faking, Breaking, and Making of a Man. And I actually wrote one of the sermons today, and I'm so excited about this series. There are so many great insights into the life of Jacob, so many great points of practical application. So that's just kind of a general ministry update. I already mentioned that we're having to move. We've loved living here in Colorado. We don't yet know exactly where we're going to move. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details of that. But our boys anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that. All right, stop that. All right, let me take some time for Q&As here real quick. I'll just do this for 5 minutes so that this video can be under 30 minutes. So I'll just see if any questions come up. If I answered all your questions, great. And I'll see you in January, and we'll be doing Steps to Christ, right? STCwithDA. We'll have to come up with something better than that. Maybe SCwithDA. There you go. Steps to Christ. Okay, here we go. We need an Arise intensive in the Midwest, please. Yes, okay, deal. Somebody says, move back to Australia. Unlikely. Somebody says, thank you, David. Thank you. We want to know where life is taking you. Right now I feel like it's driving me crazy. Where are you moving? I don't know. Where's the link? It'll be in the bio. Hey, we want details. What details do you want, Cassandra? You got to tell me. Oh, Ryan's asking about a series on Romans 8 and Isaiah 40. Yes, Nathan Renner and I are going to record the 8-part series on Romans 8, hopefully sometime in 2023. We recorded it at his church in Sonora, but unfortunately it didn't record, so we are going to record that series. Nathan's committed to it, and so am I. People are saying, where are you moving? Where are you moving? Where are you moving? I don't know yet. I'm a man without a country. A man without a state. Somebody says, I can't wait for the Arise Intensive in Portland. I agree. Somebody says, when does the Chosen series air? I don't know. They're doing the editing on those right now at the Hope Channel, and I assume sometime soon, but I don't know exactly when. But pay attention again, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, YouTube. Not really YouTube, because all I really put up on YouTube are the videos, so pay attention to social media. Somebody says... Randy says, what do you want to climb at Smith Rock on Friday morning? Okay, so I'm going to Bend, Oregon this weekend. I'm super excited to be doing a rally there with several of the churches, and I'm going to be climbing with my good friend Randy Falkenberg. Randy, I would love to get on some hard 11s or 12s or do whatever you want to do. I'm ready to go. Let's see here. Somebody says, me too. Can we vote where you move? Yeah, you can vote, but I can tell you that no matter how many votes accumulate, my wife will get the deciding vote. Somebody says, can't wait. What channel will the Jacob thing be? It'll be on the Storyline. The series on Jacob will be on the Storyline YouTube channel, or you can get the Storyline app. Let's see. Somebody says, move to Canada. Yeah, I don't know if they would let me move there because, you can't just immigrate. It's another country. Somebody says details about Arise in the Holy Land. Okay, so we're doing an Arise Intensive next year. It's in September. We're also doing a tour. Ty Gibson and I are doing a tour of the Holy Land. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're doing that in concert with Ponte Vita Travel. Unfortunately, I think it's basically filled up. I mean, there's an outside chance that we'll add another tour, but we capped it at 200 people, and we have 200 people, and it's a year away. So, but we might, there's a small chance that we'll add another tour, in which case we could add another 100, so we could do 300. So we'll basically do 2 tours of 150. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but yeah. Somebody says, where are you going? I don't know. Where are you moving? Are you staying in Colorado? I don't know. Okay, all these questions about my moving. Somebody says, I wish I could go to Cohutta Springs. Well, I wish you could too. If you'd like to go, Bambalesh, man, I think we're full, unfortunately. We had a meeting about it yesterday, and I think we're all full. Why are you moving? Well, I'm moving because the place that I have been living is no longer available to me. We've been staying in the home, kind of a little cabin that are owned by some dear friends of ours, and they very graciously let us stay there, and now they need it. And so we're finding a new place to live. Okay, somebody says the humidity of the East Coast is calling you. Allison, that is not true. That is not true. I mean, I may end up there, but it's definitely not calling me. Get your pre-orders in. Correct, Ruby Aloha. Get those pre-orders in. Let's see. Any more details about the Israel trip? Yes, that it's full unless we add a second tour, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it is going to happen, I will put it up on my Instagram account, and that'll be the first place to know about it. Also, I didn't mention this if you do the pre-order, you get a significant discount on like the marbled edges, the standard edges. I think the standard edges, I've got the numbers here. They're normally $199. They're going to be $169 on pre-order. And the marbled edges will also be discounted. I don't think the hand-dipped marble edges will be discounted just because it's basically art and it takes time, and I just don't think you can discount those. Yes, somebody says, will any of the Conflict Beautiful be sold as singles? Yes, but only in the pre-order. You can order individual books, Great Controversy, Prophets and Kings, Patriarchs and Prophets, any of them as singles, but only in the pre-order, because they don't carry singles, they only carry sets. But that's a great question. So if you had one that maybe you lost, or it got wrecked somehow, or you just want to give a single book as a gift, yes, you can order those. Great question. Let's see here. Enjoy your soup before it gets cold. Okay, I'm almost done here. I'm going to do this for about 2 more minutes. Ryan says, can we have lunch together at Cohutta Springs? Of course, yes. Okay, any more questions here? Any more questions? I'm just going through. There's a ton of it here, but I think I've answered a lot of this. Okay. Somebody says they missed the beginning part. Well, it'll be archived here on Instagram. Somebody says, come back to Oregon. Any guitar videos coming? Yes. The answer is yes. I've actually been thinking I need to play some more guitar. I play guitar all the time. I was playing just today, but I need to record some videos. Daniel Garza says, West Coast is where it's at. Like my brother says, West Coast is the best coast. Okay, I think that's going to be everything. Oh, another really exciting project that I didn't mention is Jennifer Schwerzer and I. Many of you know Dr. Jennifer Schwerzer. She's been featured on OTwithDA and DA. She and I are writing a book right now on marriage called Try This at Home. We're also doing some marriage seminars. And she and I just did our first ever marriage seminar at Markham Woods Church about 3 weeks ago now. And it was amazing. And we want to do some more of these, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 more. Just weekend seminars that are followed by a workshop, which is super cool. Jennifer does these workshops as follow-up. So there's going to be a book, there's going to be workshops, and there's going to be locations that will do this. And again, just stay tuned to social media. How to pre-order. Okay, you just go to the Types and Symbols website. That's how you pre-order. If you don't know where that's at, I think it's just typesandsymbols.com, and I'll put the link in the bio for my Instagram here. Okay, more questions. Hi, Yvonne. Where can we pre-order? Okay, I just answered that. Typesandsymbols.com. It would be amazing if we could get all 500 of these pre-orders. Maybe you already have a set. You can give a set as a gift. I mean, I've already given 5 sets away as gifts. They make amazing gifts. Especially I got one for each of my sons. My nephews have got them. So even if you already have a set, they make an amazing gift, and it would be so awesome if we could get these 500 pre-orders before October so they could place that order and we could have them ready for OTwithDA. Do they have a series that includes Steps to Christ? Yes, they do. This series right here. It's called the Light and Life Collection. It has Christ Object Lessons, Thoughts from the Mount of Blessing, and Steps to Christ. There it is right there. It comes in both the red and the gray. This is called the Light and Life Collection, and it's amazing. And we're going to be doing Steps to Christ, as I said, here in January. Okay, it looks like I'm frozen now, so God bless you all. That's the update. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Blessings to you on Instagram. More details to come about the upcoming read-through Steps to Christ. That'll be SCwithDA. Steps to Christ with DA, David Asscherick, that's me. And on YouTube, I'll put this video up there. I love you all. Can't wait to see you in January. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm going to go eat some tomato soup.